the Scottsboro City Council meeting, November 25th, 2013, to order. The invocation given by Mr. Gary Stewart, the Pledge of Allegiance given by Mr. Miller. Ms. Phillips, will you do a roll call, please?
Mr.
Smith?
Here.
Mr. Curry? Mr. Gary Stewart?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Patrick Stewart?
Here. First item is the adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I make it.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion on the agenda? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Next item is the approval of previous minutes from November the 4th, 2013. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from November 4th, 2013?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion on that? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. There is no old business. First item of new business, the mayor wanted to do a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. For the last 2 years, the Alabama Department of Environmental Management Land Division has given out an award across to that all the landfills across the state are eligible for. 3 awards are given, one for construction and demolition, one for private municipal solid waste, and one for public municipal solid waste. And again, this is the second year that this award has been given. On November 7th, at the Solid Waste Association meeting held in Gunnersville, at the Gunnersville State Park, I'm proud to announce that our landfill, the Scottsboro Solid Waste Landfill, was presented the award as Landfill of the Year for the public municipal solid waste. And this is something that each one of us should be very proud of. Our employees up there do a great job. They're here tonight. We'll recognize them here in just a minute. But you know, they take great pride in their job, and what they do is very important in the day-to-day operations of the city. It's a highly regulated industry that they have state and federal guidelines that they have to meet. Every day when they leave that landfill, it has to be in perfect order. With no stone left unturned, really. It has to be covered up. They work in all kinds of weather. The weather is probably never perfect to work up there. It's either too hot, too cold, too wet, or too dry, so there's very few days it's just a perfect working conditions. But they do a great job. They're inspected quarterly by the state. They always pass the glowing, flying colors. And so, again, they take great pride in, and you know, that landfill is not even located in Scottsboro. It's located several miles from here. So we just wanted to recognize them tonight and let them know that we don't forget about them, and we're very proud of the accomplishments that they have been awarded as the Landfill of the Year. And it's just our way of saying thank you. It recognizes for going above and beyond the rules and regulations, and again, they take great pride in their highly regarded in the city and in city council's eyes. And so I'm going to call your names out if you would come forward, and then we'll present this plaque that was given a couple of weeks ago. The department head is Eddie Blizzard, if you'll come forward. Steve Kirby, Roy Mantooth, Eddie Ray McQuarrie, Andy Guess, Dwayne Moore, Jerry Smith, Randy Buckner, Georgina Brizendine, and Deborah Cleaver. I do want to say that every employee from the landfill is here tonight except for one, and Miss Duranda Garner. Her daughter is playing basketball, I think, in Boaz tonight. So she was going to try to make it, so I don't know. But Brett Miller and Gary Stewart on the Solid Waste Committee. So Eddie and guys and gals, it takes great pleasure in the hard work and recognition that you certainly deserve. Congratulations.
We'll move on to the next item. It will be a public hearing for the UN doing businesses Kim Son Restaurant Incorporated. Ms. Phillips, will you do the investigative report, please?
The applicant is Kim Son Restaurant Incorporated. Type of license is retail beer and wine on and off premise. The location is 1519 South Broad Street. The footage requirements are met for the nearest church and school. The license application is in order. The health, fire, and building inspections comply, and the zoning verification complies. Basically, you have already approved this, but they went from being a sole proprietorship to a corporation, so they have to go through this process again.
Okay, thank you. With that being said, this is a time and place for a public hearing. Is there anyone here against this? Against it? Anyone here for this? Okay. That closes the public hearing. With that being said, do I have a motion to approve this?
I make a motion to approve.
Second? Second. Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Thank you. Next item is a public hearing for the Scottsboro Bruce Incorporated doing business as Scottsboro Foodland Plus. Ms. Phillips, we did an investigation report, please.
The applicant is Scottsboro Bruce Incorporated. The type of license is retail beer and wine off premise. The location is 1402 County Park Road. The footage requirements are met for the nearest church and school. The license application is in order. The health, fire, and building inspections comply, and zoning verification complies.
Thank you. With that being said, this is the time and place for a public hearing for this. Is there anyone here against Scottsboro Foodland Plus? Anyone here against it? Is there anyone here for this other than the owner? Okay. This closes the public hearing. And with that, we'll go to a vote. Do I have a motion to approve this? Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote now. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Next item is consider resolution 2013-1131 airport improvement funding. Mayor, go over that, please.
This is a resolution that we have to do every year when we apply for federal or FAA grants. We're getting ready to fill out our application, and we need a resolution from the city just authorizing us to apply for this grant.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for the airport improvement funding?
I make it.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Next item is consider resolution 2013-1132 Salvation Army roadblock. Ms. Phillips.
The Salvation Army has requested authorization to conduct a roadblock on Saturday, December 14th from 7 a.m. to 12 noon at 5 points, Parks Avenue and Broad Street, and Highway 79 and Highway 35 at Woodell's Quick Stop for the purpose of raising funds for their Red Kettle Fund.
Do I have a motion to approve Salvation Army roadblock?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
This is their first time, right?
Yes, sir.
We have certain men that do it every year. So it's just asking them to do it and have them drop off.
No, it's an evening.
Okay,
Any other discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. item is consider resolution 2013-11-33, one-time pay raise. Mayor, will you cover this one, please?
Yes, sir. You have in your packet a copy of a resolution for a one-time pay raise for the city of Scottsboro employees.
Any other discussion? Not, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. Next item is consider resolution 2013-11-34, surplus police property. Ms. Phillips, will you read this, please?
The police department is in need of surplusing property. They need to surplus the K-9 motto and all his training and housing supplies. He is 8 years old and can no longer do what we need him to do, so they are gonna donate him to a search and rescue group.
Thank you. Do I have a motion for the surplus police property?
Make it.
Do I have a second? Second. Any discussion? Not, we'll vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. Next item is consider adoption of the revised record service ordinance number 579. Do I have a motion to consider the adoption of the revised record service ordinance 579?
I make a motion to consider the revised record service ordinance 579.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call vote on this. Ms. Phillips, will you do a roll call, please?
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Gary Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Patrick Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Kimmer, again, when will this take effect?
I think it's an ordinance, so it can't take effect until after it's been passed, transmitted to you, for your signature, then published. But I believe there is a provision at the end that sets the date so many days afterwards.
Include, he's got a copy there.
45 days.
45 days, okay. All right. But you will let each record service know when it goes into effect then?
Yes.
Next item is consider ordinance number 580 to repeal ordinance 187 relating to the possession of handguns. Ms. Phillips, will you cover that, please?
Ordinance number 580 is to repeal ordinance number 187 adopted on the 27th day of August 1979. This ordinance shall become effective immediately upon its due passage and publication as required.
Do I have a motion to consider the ordinance repeal? Number 187 related to the possession of handguns.
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
This ordinance was adopted in 1979. It became basically violated of state law in the 80s and has never been enforced. One of our police officers has been going through some of our ordinances and identified this one as one that probably we needed to clean up and get repealed. So we recommend that you repeal this ordinance. There'll be other ordinances coming to you hopefully over the next several months that are either outdated or no longer constitutional.
Thank you. Any other discussion? If not, we'll do a roll call vote on this too, Ms. Phillips.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Gary Stewart?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Patrick Stewart?
Yes. Next item is a legislative delegation request. Mayor, you want to talk about that just a second?
Yes, sir. The legislative delegation approached me about a month ago about the prospects of them moving their offices to the upstairs area of City Hall. We have about 8,800 square feet that is unfinished up there. They are looking at using about 2,700 square feet for office spaces and a conference room. They would pay the cost of the design work, the engineering, and all the work that is to be accomplished up there, any building, anything that needs to be done. The only expense to the city is that they have asked, we want to go halvers, I guess, for lack of a better word, in the conference room area. There's a pretty sizable conference room that could be used whenever we needed it. And the estimated cost of one half of the conference room is $17,280. I would say you would add probably another $8,000 to $9,000 for furnishing, so about $25,000 would be the cost to the city for this project. We would look at a lease, 15 years to 20 years, whatever you wanted to do, at $1 per year. And at the end of that lease, and then it would be renegotiated, whether you determine it's 15 years or 20 years. We would be able to divide the utilities up as needed. Some other details that would need to be worked out. Notice on either side of the parties a certain amount of time if either one of us wanted out. So those are some of the things that has to be worked out. But the big thing, I think, is the lease terms, how many years, again, $1 per year for those years, and then at the end of that lease, then it would be negotiated for the price, a lease price at that time. What they're looking for you tonight is to say, yes, you're interested in this, or no, you're not. And, you have a map, you have a layout there. Again, about half of it is going to be unfinished, so if it's something we wanted to use up there to finish it out at some later date and time, we certainly have that possibility. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to try to answer them. But they wanted us to make a decision on that tonight if you could. I have spoken with each one of you individually and given you this information, but we wanted to have it brought up in the council meeting tonight for you to vote on. Yes, I think what you're asking is any lease terms would come back to the council for approval. I think the main sticking point is the number of years. Yes, and the number of years. You need to tell me 15 or 20, and they're open to either one. Okay?
Okay.
All right.
Is that conference room roughly the same size as this looks like?
The square footage is on here, Mr. Miller. Let me see. It says 864 square feet is the total conference room.
Okay, so with that being said, do I have a motion for the legislative delegation request?
I make a motion that we allow the delegation.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion?
Now, it's my understanding as well that it hardly get taken.
Any other discussion?
And again, when the lease, when everything with Mr. Kimmer and the leases are hammered out, then it may be brought back to you for your approval.
If there's not any other discussion, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Next item is consider renewal of the Scottsboro Electric Power Board franchise agreement. Do I have a motion to consider the renewal of the Scottsboro Electric Power Board franchise agreement?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
A second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Next Next item is announce appointment on the Recreation Advisory Board. Mr. Gary Stewart.
Yes, the appointment was, up to me, and I had chosen Robert Potter for that position.
Thank you. Next item is announce appointments to the Museum Committee. Ms. Phillips.
Mr. Darrell Brett, Mr. Clyde Broadway, Ms. Joyce Kinnemer, Ms. Pat Switchenberg, and Ms. Rosalie Sarno have requested to be reappointed to the Museum Committee. Their new terms will expire October 2018. There also have been 3 written requests to fill the 3 vacancies on this board. Mr. Blake Wilhelm, Ms. Patricia Smith, and Mr. Reed Henshaw.
Do I have a motion for the appointments to the Museum Committee?
I make a motion that we accept the 5 announced and the additional 3 that I've requested.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Next item is the appointment to the Airport Advisory Board. Mayor.
This is Ms. McQuarrie's appointment. Since she's out tonight, she asked me to announce it for her. Paul Jacobs, who was appointed to fill an unexpired term back in the spring, I guess, is resigned from the Airport Advisory Board due to moving out of town. And Ms. McQuarrie is going to appoint Jill Bryant Green to that unexpired term, the remainder of this term.
Thank you. With that, we'll go to reports. Mayor.
The only thing I have, last week they installed the floating dock at the city park, which now completes all the renovations down there. If you hadn't had a chance to go and look at it, it's really a nice addition. It's an 8-foot by 100-foot floating dock, and to go with the additions of the extra parking spaces down there, it's really turned out nice. I've spoken with the Department of Conservation and Natural Resources, and they're wanting to do the same thing at the Mink Creek boat dock, so hopefully that can be done in the next year or so, depending on the availability of their money. It was a matching grant, I believe it was an 80-20 grant, so we're glad to get that one at the city park finished. That's all I have.
Mr. Smith.
The only thing I have is in regard to earlier thing with Mr. Blizzard and his department. If you go up to that place and you look around, you can't tell you're at a landfill first. And you see all the amazing stuff they're doing with the burning methane gas. And that's pretty neat as well. But at a time when all over this whole nation, landfills are coming under fire for skipping on this and not doing that, and then to have our landfill get nothing but credit and awards, it's pretty neat, and it should be recognized for the whole city. And that's all I have.
Mr. Miller.
Just like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving this week.
Mr. Gary Stewart. I just have a couple of things. We will not be meeting on December the 2nd due to the annual Christmas parade. That being said, there will be a work session with a council meeting, immediately following on the December 9th and December 16th meeting. And then can't talk tonight. There will not be a meeting on December 23rd due to the Christmas holidays. And then I also want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and hope that you have a safe and happy Thanksgiving this week. With that, do I have a motion to adjourn? Second.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye.